April 2nd, so Friday night through a Sunday afternoon. It's a little bit shorter than we've done in the past. Makes it a little more accessible. It's for any ability level or experience level. What happens there is we practice like this. We do some restorative yoga because they have all the great restorative props. Eat well, do some hiking, and they also do some presentations for us where we're sitting and learning about meditation and taking that deeper, or one of the selections we've made is a bit of learning around harnessing the mind, using some of yoga's teachings to, I'll just leave it at that, harnessing the mind. So you may be interested in coming. I'll be there leading the retreat, and I would love to have you. And then the other thing is inversion workshop for all skill and experience levels. If you're curious about how can I stay upside down, get upside down, nobody's too old, nobody's too new at yoga to come and enjoy this workshop. And if you're very skilled at doing inversions, you'll still learn a lot as well. So that is March 4th. Oh, the cheat sheet's not right there behind me. I believe it's March 4th, but there are posters around the studio that tell you it's a weekend. It tells you the date. Okay, let's get started. We have 90 minutes to really take the opportunity to discover something new through our yoga practice. So start in child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. Just settle your hips back down to your heels. Take a deep breath in and fill up your lungs. And then exhale slowly. Let the air come out slowly until there's nothing left and you're empty. And then inhale again, very smooth and steady. Hold it, and then very smooth and steady on the exhale. We don't commonly default to a smooth, steady, especially exhale. And we're looking to distinguish 4 parts to the breath: an inhale, a pause, and an exhale, and a pause. And then we'll keep that going throughout our practice, because what we're really doing is a breathing exercise, and all these poses are set in place to help challenge our breathing exercise. Now we'll use breath to move the body. So on the next inhale, use your breath to lift yourself up into downward facing dog. Body in the shape of an upside down letter V. So come on up into it and start bending and straightening your knees to just check yourself out. How is it in your body this morning? Do any moving around that you need to, and continue to be purposeful about your breath. No one walked into the room with the breath that we'll need for our practice today. We're going to have to cultivate that. So even if it feels like, oh, I'm breathing, I don't really want to do that, still do it, because it's going to make a difference to your practice. In fact, let's do a little bit of movement to match to breath. Inhale and tippy toe up high on your toes. Exhale and bend your knees so they hover just down at ankle height. Then inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels toward the ground. Inhale, tippy toe. Exhale, bend your knees and hover. Inhale, lift your hips up high. And exhale, press your heels down. Let's do it again. Inhale, tippy toe. You're stretching out your toes and feet. Exhale, bend your knees to hover. Inhale, lift your hips up high. Exhale, press your heels down. There you go. Now breathe. You can just settle your gaze at the back center of your mat. Putting your gaze in one spot purposefully. That's called your drishti in yoga. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, look to the front of your mat and come on up to the front of your mat. Walk up to the front. At the top of the mat, lift up halfway with your inhale and stretch your whole body long. And then hang down. You can fold your arms and sway from side to side as you hang here. Feel how it is in your body. Then put your attention on your feet. We want to be purposeful in the feet. Set them up to be hip-width distance and parallel to one another. A lot of us default to turning our toes out. So for many of us, you'll have to have this feeling of your heels going wider. And then maybe pick up all 10 of your toes and feel the 4 corners of your feet press down into the ground. Now breathe, and with all of your attention on your feet, build a quality of an intensity. Move breath through your system. Feel, hear, experience the breathing of those around you. Allow that into your awareness as they share and allow you into their awareness. Take another breath, And then press your feet down more. Come rolling up to standing all the way up. Lift your arms overhead, stretch up, reach up, and then gather your hands together into prayer position at the center of your chest. Settle your gaze on one still point across the room and set an intention for your practice. We phrase an intention like this: I am, and then you fill in the blank and fill it in with I'm curious, I'm present, whatever you want to fill it in with. And then we'll use that to shape each pose through the practice. 3 times we chant Om together to just create a clearing and bring us all into the same breath together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, lift up, look up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, high plank to low plank as you slowly empty your breath. Then inhale, straighten your arms, lift your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Got 3 breaths here. Breathe in and a long, steady breath out. Just like that. Inhale and a long, steady exhale. One more time. Breathe in. On the exhale, get ready to move. Then come up to the front of your mat. At the front, inhale, lift up halfway and fold down. Press your feet into the ground and stand up, lift up, extended mountain pose, fold to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway, just suspend your breath. Then chaturanga, the low push-up position, and hold your breath empty here. Inhale, come to the upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. So while you're taking these breaths, some attention on your foundation. Christy, when you get into yours, maybe make it a little bit longer, and everyone wider. And then we'll take our last breath, our last inhale. On the exhale, prepare to move. Come to the front of your mat. Halfway lift as you inhale and fold and empty. Then stand up and fill up as you reach to the ceiling. Fold down and press the air out of your body. Inhale, lift halfway, low plank, soft on your breath like an elevator lowering. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Consider we're waking up into our bodies and stretching out our breath through these sun salutations. Breathe in, steady breath out. We'll do one more. Inhale, get ready to move on your exhale, then come to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, press the ground, stand up, lift high, look up and stretch back, then fold to the floor as you empty. Inhale, lift up halfway, low plank, empty your breath. For some, this is fast. For some, it's slow. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Maybe for you, it's just right. Anytime you want to, you can fill your lungs up, open your mouth, and just take a sigh. One more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees. Come up to the front of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Let's do one more. Inhale, stand up, extended mountain pose. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, fill up, hold it. Chaturanga, empty and empty and empty, and hold that. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. That end of the chaturanga is always a little bit of a tricky spot where we tend to just shave off the end of the exhale. Let's do one more breath in. On the exhale, prepare to move. Jump to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Next, we'll take the chair pose. Sit back and reach your arms up. Breathe right here. Let your gaze just drop down to your knees and ensure your knees are landing right on top of your middle 2 toes. Different from maybe your toes turning out or your knees knocking in. Line your body up. That's it. Sit really deep and reach your elbows, your wrists, and your fingertips. Reach until there's sensation in your fingertips. Like you can almost feel them touching the ceiling. You got it right there. Take another inhale and then fold to the floor when you're complete. Lift up halfway. Chaturanga. Empty it, empty it, empty it. Inhale, come up. And exhale, go back. Now step your right foot forward to lunge. Inhale, arms overhead. Warrior one, look up. And then hands to the floor. Slowly empty your breath. Upward facing dog. Now fill up. Downward facing dog. Left side step. Arms overhead. Stretch through to your fingertips. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Good. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. It's going to get a little faster. So start matching your breath to your heart rate. We have this opportunity to bring into sync our respiratory system, our circulatory system, our nervous system. One more breath in. Breath out, bend your knees. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift and forward fold. Chair pose. Reach with an inhale. Fold to the floor. Patient. Inhale, lift halfway. Chaturanga. There's always some patience needed on the exhales. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot forward and lunge. Arms overhead. Stretch up and go back. Hands to the floor. Empty your breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side lunge. Look, reach, stretch. Chaturanga to kick your block. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Now we're a little more warmed up. So let's be more purposeful with our downward facing dog. Open your feet wide. Look back. Let your heels kind of hang toward the ground, but ensure they're behind your toes, like you can't see them. And then if you need to, many of you will, soften your knees so you can press your hands into the mat. All fingertips active. And then your hips, you pull them up and back. So hands stay pressing into the mat. Your hips draw up and back. So it's like you're in a handstand that's tipped over. Take another breath in. Breath out. Get ready to move. Jump up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Chair pose. Sit. Wake up all the way to the fingertips. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Long. Now chaturanga. Empty it. Manage it. Lower it. Smooth. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward lunge. Press the back edge of your back foot down as you reach. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward and lunge. The back foot's flat. The back edge pressing while you reach. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Stretch out. Make the bottom of the pose long. When you expand the base like that, you have more freedom to move. It's a little less stable, but a lot more freedom. Take a sigh if you need it. We're ready to move on. Finish with this exhale. Come on up to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. We'll take one more round. So sit deep. Wake up and fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Chaturanga and empty. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward lunge. Land your feet. Take a deep lunge and stretch. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga and empty. Nice. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. The left side next. Anchor the back edge of your back foot. Powerful back leg. You reach. Hands down. Chaturanga. Empty. Feel your heels pulling back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Together, take a full breath in and sigh. Let your lips flutter. Deep breath in. Raise your right leg into the air behind you. Bend your knee, heel to your hip, and turn your hips open. Now flip the pose over and keep your breath flowing and steady so your left hand stays on the ground. Your right foot spins all the way over. You got it. 2 feet on the floor. Now reach your right arm up to the ceiling and overhead, maybe till it touches the floor. Press down and rise up. You got it. Breathe here. Feel your ribs opening up. A full, easy breath. Now side plank. So flip back around. Face the long left side of your mat. Stack your body up like it's a letter T that has tipped over. Check it out and see how it is in your body today, and then see what else is available. Maybe hug your right knee into your chest. Stretch your whole body long. One more breath, strong pit of the belly, float, chaturanga. That's the name of the low push-up position. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I always like to define that because one time somebody said to me, you guys keep saying that word, cowabunga, and I just never know why you're saying that. It's chaturanga, Sanskrit. Lift your left leg into the air. Bend your knee, heel to your hip, and turn your hips open. You'll feel a stretching down the side of your body. That's it. And then flip it over, 2 feet on the floor. Keep your breath flowing. Pick a spot to put your drishti or your gaze. You got it, Jim. Flip that over. Yes, just like that. 2 flat feet. Steady breathing. Side plank is next. The left hand to the mat. Face the long right side of the mat and stack your body up. So right here, wake up your fingertips. Wake up your toes. Sensation all the way to the edges of your skin. You just wake up. That's it. Smooth and easy breath. You got it. One more breath. Look up and reach up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. My new favorite activity. We're going to do it right here. Crescent lunge. So stand on the ball of your back foot, not your warrior foot, the ball of your back foot. Arms overhead and your palms face forward. Without any momentum, take a breath in and stretch up. And as you exhale, drag your toes across the floor, cactus arms, knee into your chest. And then reach right back again for an inhale. As best you can, no dropping back and landing on your toes and launching up. As best you can. Try that 3 more times. You might find that you're very wiggly and off balance today. The first thing I would say is put your gaze on one still point in the room. That'll help. Finish where you are. Last one into the crescent lunge. Then hands to prayer position and twist. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. And now start to breathe. Fill up your lungs, especially if you feel it in the back rib area. And exhale. You're welcome to open your arms or bind your arms, your choice. But from whatever you've chosen, last 3 breaths, we're going to inhale and stretch your body long. Exhale and rotate. 2 more. Inhale, stretch your body long. Exhale, twist a little more. 1 more. Inhale, twist and empty your breath. Crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Turn to the left. Steady breathing now. Start at your feet, feeling the experience in your feet. Go long with your stride. And even in your back foot, put your big toe in the ground and swing your heel out a little further. So you almost have an angled inward back foot. And then if you're flexible, gather in the pit of your belly, gather in your left hip. So you're standing nice and tall. Nice, and this is into tall. Yeah. Now stretch. Stretch from fingertip through chest to fingertip until you feel a heat across your chest and arms. When you have that, tilt for extended side angle. So you reach to the block or floor inside of your front knee. Bend your front knee a lot. There you go. And then with your top arm, you have choices. You can reach to the ceiling. You can wrap it behind your back. You could reach it at an angle overhead. Whatever you're doing, press the back edge of your back foot into the mat so hard, so strong that it lights up the inseam of your back leg. It lights up the right side of your body. Maybe reach the bottom arm. Take 1 more breath. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Step back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. That's a good sound. Feel how it is in your body right now. And then we get ready for the other side. Step your left foot forward for crescent lunge. Arms overhead, palms face up, face forward. You'll have to have your hips square. So if your back foot's kind of hanging in and your hips are a little open, it's going to be really tricky to do this. Square to the front of your mat. The inhale, you stretch up. The exhale, you drag. Good. Inhale, step back. Do your best. Exhale, drag. Good. You're getting it. Try this 3 more times. Eyes on one point. That's it, Suzanne. That's it, Sue. Try to drag it the whole way. Forward and back. Good. 2 more. Finding your center line. Last one. And then back to the crescent lunge. Hands to prayer position. Twist. Your ability to tap into where your center line is, it expands your powerfulness, physical powerfulness. When you can hug the right side into the left and the left side into the right, they're both hugging into a space called your center line. Deep lunges now. You can press your back heel back while you stretch your chest and the crown of your head forward in your space. Then 3 times. Inhale, stretch your whole spine long. Exhale and twist more to the left. 2 more. Elbow press to your knee as you stretch and twist. 1 more. Last one. And now twist. Crescent lunge, reach up. Warrior 2. Keep your breath flowing. Good. So back toes, angle them in by pushing your back heel out. That's it, Christy. Deep lunge. You actually might have your feet too far apart, Christy. You're not able to stack your knee. Yeah, probably feeling that sliding out. Put some pressure in your back foot so that you really have a sense of standing in the back leg too. So you can still lunge deep, but your hips will, instead of shifting forward, they'll just be standing level on top of your 2 legs. Feel that differently? Now stretch your arms apart. Tilt for extended side angle. Reach to the floor and reach to the ceiling. Steady breathing. Powerful back leg. You've got 3 more breaths. 2 more to lengthen this left side of your torso, probably by lifting the pit of your belly. Hands to the floor, chaturanga, no problem. That's what friends are for. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. In this section of this sequence, we're tapping into something that's already there, your own inexhaustible well of energy called vitality. We're clearing the pathway to it so you get this free flow of a sense of being energized. Take another breath. Exhale, bend your knees and jump up to your hands. At the front, lift up halfway and fold down. We'll take chair twist to the right. So sit back, line your knees up with your middle toes, hands to prayer and twist, left elbow to your right knee. Now really sit deep in your legs. While you're in this pose, just imagine someone has hold of the sides of your hips and they're pulling them back and it's a tug of war. You have to stretch your sides long, reach the crown of your head long, and then as you twist, melt your thoracic spine into your body. 3 more breaths. In the inhale, the body gets long. On the exhale, it twists. Inhale, body long, then exhale, twist. 1 more time, body long, and twist, chair pose, forward fold. Now hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers and ensure that you're not in a position of toes turning out. For most of us, that means we'll have to move our heels a little wider. And then make sure that you don't have a little like baby cheat going on, that all the weight's now shifted in the outer edge of your heel. Balance the weight between the 4 corners of your feet as you breathe. If it's helpful, take a sigh and let your whole body just hang down long. You might notice the back of your pelvis becoming more broad, or your spine feeling like it's getting a little longer, or your head heavier. Some of you know more variations of what we're doing next. I'll give you one specifically. Put your left fingertips on the floor or block, either with your fingertips or your strong handstand hand and arm. Then shift the weight into your left foot and lift your right foot up as high as it goes. If all that happens is you're just shifting the load or the weight, that's fine too. That's all I could do the first time somebody asked me to do this. Now grip the floor with your handstand hand and breathe. Leg in the air, breathe 5 breaths, 4 breaths. This is the power and strength of the side of your pelvis. It holds you upright. 1 more breath, foot on the floor, shake that leg out. Shake your hips out, move your hips maybe in a figure 8 pattern. We've got to do the other side. The right hand becomes the handstand hand. Press it into a block or the floor. Left fingers hold your left big toe. We would like to have the foot coming straight out to the side rather than any pattern of reaching behind you. The side's the hard spot. Lift it up as high as it will go and start to breathe. Breathe 5 breaths. 4 breaths. Just imagine it's pressing into the ceiling. 3. There you go. You're finding that. 2 and 1. Shake it out. You're going to be so excited for the next chair pose. It's going to be better than that. Take chair pose and twist the other way. So now your right elbow to your left knee. Sit back. Ensure your knees are evenly bending as you make your rotation. If I were to come around and capture my hands just behind your knees, could we do a tug of war? So sit back and take some weight into my hands, Nakia. Yep. Bring this knee toward my face more and that hip away from me. Yeah, they'll go like this. Oh, you got it. But straight back. Nice. 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale. Chair pose, reach up. Forward fold. Gorilla pose, palms under your feet from the front. So just stand on your hands. You could do this seated, a seated forward fold if the standing was like you were feeling dizzy. Just let the back of your pelvis grow broad. Whole backside broad. Any letting go that you can discover and connect to while you're here and breathing, you do that and let go. A sigh sometimes is really helpful when you're working to let go. Broad back body. Okay, release your hands from beneath your feet. Put your handstand hands on the ground or on blocks again. You can press both into the ground. And then we're going to not hold the toes this time, but still keep the toes in one line. Slide them to the side and lift it up. You could take taps as well. So it's 5 breaths or 5 taps with your leg to the side. Active all the way out to the tips of your toes. Leg not behind you. Leg all the way up to the side and switch sides. These are your press handstanding muscles on the sides of your hips. Again, these muscles, when you're 97 years old, and this work you did right now is going to keep you standing upright. You might not care right now, but you will when you're 97. Foot on the floor, take goddess squat. Toe heel your feet wide, elbows inside of your knees, hands in prayer. It's called malasana. Yeah, some of you'll be squatting way down. Some of your hips will be a little higher. Press out into your knees with your elbows and into your elbows with your knees. Create an equal and opposite action. You got it. And then since we're here, nestle your body down lower inside of your knees and keep your feet wide and put your hands wide on your mat and then tilt forward into your handstand hands. You press. And some of you will lift your feet into a crow pose. Wherever you are, every time you exhale, you press into the floor and feel your core lift. Someday this lifts into a handstand. Take 3 more breaths. Powerful breaths. You have 2 more. On the last one, move to your chaturanga, the plank pose. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog, and then just forget about it. Forget it ever happened. Just downward facing dog. Take a sigh. Tap into your hands pressing into the floor and your feet. Take another breath. On the exhale, prepare to move and jump to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Roll up to standing and stretch your arms overhead. Set your gaze, your drishti on one still point that you're going to commit to for the next few poses. Then right arm under your left for eagle pose. Right leg over your left. Drag your legs down, drag your arms up, and stretch your whole body in two directions. When you get to the spot for you, just breathe. Notice whatever there is to be noticed in your body in this pose as you breathe. Then step out and switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Steady breathing. So if you try your best to really twine those arms as much as they will, you'll experience a lot of stretching across your upper back shoulders. Then step out, arms overhead. Second set, right arm under, right leg over. Now try this to the rhythm of your breath. You can stay as you are, or a couple of movements. Come all the way down, touch your knees, and right back up. You match that to the inhale and the exhale as it occurs to work for you. 3 times. Fold, elbows to top your knees, and come back up. Or stay just standing tall. That's a choice too. Finish your last one. Ray, you can tap your elbows to your knees too. Switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Ray is doing a variation of taking this lying on her back. If you've never tried that, someday try that when you're practicing. It's a whole different world. Okay, we've got the 3 taps if you're taking that. So take your time and breathe. It's a practice in keeping your drishti set while it's moving. 2 more. It's just a bowing eagle. Then step out. Put your eyes on your drishti point and hug your right knee into your chest. We'll take the standing leg raises. Hold on to your foot. Use a strap. Extend your knee. Standing leg raise. Straight out in front of you at first. There's so much to be gained from it just being straight out in front. If you could imagine that there was a palm against your inside ankle and you were hugging it, keep hugging, Nima. And at your standing inside ankle and you were hugging there as well, tap into your center line. Take your toes a little higher toward the ceiling. Hold it right there and breathe. Hug your knee into your chest. Open up to the airplane pose. Open up to airplane, so shoulders on your back. Upper back, opening, stretching, lifting like it feels when you're in an upward facing dog. Steady breathing. Now sense. Can you feel the skin on the tips of your fingers? On the tips of both sets of toes? Hands together at your chest, press them together, get settled here. Then open up to half moon. Your left arm goes on the block or floor under your left shoulder. Right arm opens up in the air and stretch your whole body apart. A pretty common default can be that your belly is kind of soft and not working here, and the pose turns into a bit of a collapsed back bend. For everybody, right here in your low pelvis, the front of your pelvis, pull the pit of your belly into your body and lift it up toward your chin. See if your left side body gets a little longer. So more pit of the belly in, pelvis up to your chin, and your body will get longer. Okay, feet to the floor and hang. Do you feel the difference, Erin? Sway from side to side. Take a second to notice how your body is. You've done a lot of stuff on one side that we haven't yet done on the other. If you're using your strap for the standing leg raise, pick it up and everyone come up to standing and hug your left knee into your chest. You would like to take a quick peek down and ensure your heel's behind your middle toe rather than any kind of default of your toes turning out. Hug your left knee into your chest. Extend left knee. So heel, let it press away. You can stay with a bent knee for now. A strap makes a big difference in letting you get to the straightened knee. Everyone stand up tall. Breathe. Imagine your two knees, two ankles are both hugging in toward a center line. Toes a little higher to the ceiling. Be patient with it. Just stay patient. Knee into your chest. Airplane pose. Open up. Whole body open up. Shoulders open, chest lifting. Fill the pose with breath. Bring breath into the pose. That's it, Sue. The whole thing alive. Paul, shoulders more to the ceiling. It's not your arms now. It's just your shoulders. Arm bones on your back. You'll get more upward dog. Hands to prayer position. Half moon, right hand down, left arm in the air. Megan has the advantage of the wall being right here, so she can press both feet into something. Though your lifted foot isn't on a wall like hers, press it as though it is. Have it angled that it's parallel to the floor. And then you just breathe here. Feel how it is in the pose. Steady breath. More pit of the belly. Sandra, lift your top leg. Everybody, whole body light. Reach up. Look up. You got it. There. Let it go. Let the control in the shoulders go. Yes. Feel the difference. Forward fold and hang. Nice work. Hang and sway from side to side. Let yourself be recovered. And then we'll come rolling up to standing for the standing bow pose. So arms overhead. This can be a tricky grip. Right arm back so the whole inseam of your arm is open. Keep that. Bend your knee and hold the ankle from the inside. Different from slouching down and trying to reach for it here. Your arm will get stuck forward. So open it back. Paul, start with your knees more together. Yeah, and then drive your knees straight back. Knees more together and drive your knees straight back. So what that means is not knee open to the side and going around, that it goes straight back through the pose. Yes, Jim, great choice. Now, from wherever you are, what's next for you? Yeah, that was it, Teresa. That looked good. Steady breathing. Just be in the space. Feel how it is. One more. Step out. Windmill your arms around. Bend your left knee. Hold your left ankle from the inside. So arm bone back. Keep rolling your, yes. Hold onto your foot and kick back. Nice. Good hand grips all around the room. Now your legs, they're the power in this pose or any back bend. And the rest of your body is in result of your legs and the alignment of your feet. So if you have your foot flex like Sandra does here, you can be imagining you're pressing your big toe up into the ceiling. You're standing big toe into the floor. Good, you got it. Step out, feet on the floor. Eyes on your spot, maybe hands on your hips. Just catch your breath. We're going to do a second set. You might really feel your heart pounding right now, and that's pretty normal. So right arm behind you, hold your ankle from the inside. Left arm in the air. Get a sense of the up and down of this pose, and then press. I'll give you a little something we were playing with in class in York yesterday. This is a little bit tricky. In your pose, a sense of your center line, so a sense of hugging into center line, and then with your back hand, you'll have to see if this works, so much ankle pressing into your palm that you can open your fingers up. That inner pressure to the center line holds the pose. It's a little tricky. They were finding it, though, yesterday. A little tricky. Come on out. You got a little bit, Sandra? It's interesting. Let's do the other side, second set. So it's like this, shoulder back, hold your ankle from the inside. And if you press enough, you won't have to grip. If you're getting the center line, this won't be able to be out like that. It'll have to be the knee feels like it's pressing something. So these 2 points will have to feel like they're pressing something. This point will have to press both of these, Sandra, right? These 2 points, press them. And keep pressing, keep pressing. I'm losing pressure here. Press the knee in, press the knee in, press the knee in, press the knee in. Breathe and step out. It's a little bit more fire, isn't it? Tree pose. When you find your center line, you get the basement of your core. You get this lit up central strength that lets the periphery be easy. If you want to figure out, well, where's mine? I can't find it. Bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Take the back of your right hand and press it against this crease of your knee. And then the left arm, it could just reach in the air. And you'll be hugging in this thigh to this foot, this thigh to the back of this hand. Pull in the pit of your belly and just, you'll feel it lock in. You'll know when you know, so don't worry if you don't. Just keep on trying and imagining, and one day, oh yeah, that's it. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. We're in the very beginning of an inversion workshop right now, figuring out where our center line is. There's nothing that stays in place upside down without connection to the center line. So feel the connection of your inner thigh to your foot, your inner thigh to your hand. When that kicks in, you'll probably feel the pit of your belly lift a little bit. Yeah, I see some of that around the room. One more breath here. Good choice to step out of it and stretch. Step forward now. At the front of your mats, inhale and reach your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for triangle and keep on breathing. Your foot can stand inside of your right hand. Your right hand can be on the block or floor, and two straightish legs. Let this whole right side of your body get long as you reach. What you're not looking for is your pelvis to get fixed with your legs and to be folding at the waist. From this foot pressing to this hip sliding back, we're making long inner thighs and long right side. Good, two straight legs. Go a little longer. Tell me your name again. Alex, and what's yours? Helena, that's right. Try to straighten your front leg if you can. If you straighten it easily, unlock your knee. Unlock your knee. I see all the teachers in the room giggling and unlocking their knees. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift your heart up high and forward fold. Keep your knees soft. Christy, you keep your knees soft too at home. Yes. Bring your fingertips to the ground and walk them as far in front of you as they'll go without you shifting your weight into them. So we want to have a long line of stretch from the fingertips to the hips. We want to be breathing into the back bottom rib area. So put your attention on that part of your body. Do whatever breathing you have access to, feeling your body expand, the whole of your body, and soften, and watch your breath carve out new space between your ribs. Keep giving your knees a tiny bit of softness if they lock. Just a micro bend. One more breath. Come on up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat, standing single leg forward fold. Namaste is the what it's traditionally called for in your hands, so that's prayer hands right up your back, if that will work, if you can get that happening in your body. If that's not so for you, you could be pressing palm to palm, but don't let your body do this. I always think this is like the body position of somebody who's got handcuffs on, they're getting stuffed in the police car. Open up and fold. I see a lot of nice long strides set up. That's so good. Christy, I think yours could be longer. That's probably what's making it tricky to find this. You want to feel like you're compelled to figure out the four corners of your feet, particularly the front one. Work with your front knee a bit soft. Some of you, it'll be full on bent. And just imagine that somebody's in tug of war with you, pulling your hips back toward them at the back of your mat while you're stretching your chest forward. You should feel this in the back of the leg that's in front. It should be lit up in the back. Now your legs and hips are where they need to be. So feel how it is in your feet right now. Don't shift your weight in your feet for the next move. We're going into twisting triangle. So left hand can go onto the block or floor. You might keep your right hand on your right hip, pulling it back while the big toe of your right foot keeps pressing down. And then you're just looking for length and a little rotation. Don't make the mistake of feeling like you have to see behind you and curling around, or popping your hip to the side and kind of looking behind you. The pose should occur as like you're in the slot of a toaster. Take another inhale, another exhale, hands to the floor, step to downward facing dog, and then left foot forward to triangle. Just go through the paces. Left foot forward, triangle. Some of you will take a vinyasa, and that's perfectly fine. Left foot forward triangle, and keep on breathing. So body long, 2 flat feet. The front foot's big toe, keep it pressing while your body's long and you stretch. The default, most of you won't notice in your own body. You could probably get pretty good at noticing your front foot's big toe. But what most of you won't notice, the most common default, is belly hanging forward, butt popping back. Pull the pit of your belly into your body. When you do that, your whole lower back will lengthen. So let this sink while your pelvis does, not the other way. Just your pelvis, though. It'll go like this. There. Feel it? And then this gets deeper. One more breath here. Open up your shoulders. Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Feet parallel to the short sides. Arms behind you. Interlace your fingers. A strap would be really good if you get to this position and you're back into the police car. We want to have your arms able to spill overhead. If you don't find that your arms spill overhead, a strap is the tool. You'll use the strap to just make more space between your hands and let your arms spill overhead. We wouldn't want to take the strap so wide your hands fall overhead and touch the ground. Now breathe and feel what there is to feel in the pose. The back ribs up underneath of the armpits as you breathe are stretching. And then the front chest is stretching. We're going to see a need for this area to be open when we get to the shoulder stand. Can you see that? Your body's almost in a shoulder stand shape right now. We're going to need it for camel pose. We're going to need this area open for bridge pose. In the pose, take a breath in. Use a sigh and let your hands be heavy. Come on up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat. Standing, single leg forward fold. So now you have your left leg forward. Hands in prayer position. Lift up high and hinge. Hinge means fold at the crease of the hip. Different from bow at the waist. So you should feel your sitting bones, these bones on the bottom of your pelvis, moving behind you. Good. A lot of really thoughtful setting up of your bodies here. Now, while you're here, for everybody, some softness in your knees. Some softness in your knees, yes. Until you can press the 4 corners of your feet down, particularly your big toes. Press your feet so much, you start to notice an equal and opposite lift of your arches. So 4 corners down, arches lift. Keep that going. 4 corners down, arches lift. Now, this time when your arches lift, notice the pit of your belly lift a little bit more. Especially Christy, lift the pit of your belly as your feet lift so that sway in your lower back gets supported. And that's not just Christy. As I look around the room, that's a lot of people right in here. Twisting triangle. Yeah, was that different for you? You're a master of your own practice, so we have to keep checking in. Did you do a piece of work? What result did that leave you with? Open that up. Relax. You got it. Sink. There, Nakia. 2 more. Sigh. Feel the difference? 1 more. Sigh. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. If you'd like to take the vinyasa, which is the low push-up, up dog, down dog, you can do that. Whatever feels best for you. Now, one of my favorite things. It's my favorite. Suzanne, do the favorite thing with me. High plank for everybody. Make handstand hands. So handstand hands are spread out fingers and pointer fingers probably pointing forward. It could be your middle finger. And press your hands down. Now, when your hands press down, you'll feel your chest kind of come up and your upper back open like a cobra snake flaring. Dial your pelvis so the pit of your belly is lifting and it's hollow. So you're more belly lifting. Now, point your toes and stand on the tops of your feet, not your toes turned under. So right here, Alex, lift that. So you turn your toes, so your toes are pointing back and you're on the tops of your feet. I know it just can't really be. You got it. Hold it there. You can stay right here and breathe, or you can tap your toes. You can't let your belly sag and a sway come in your lower back. So tap your right toe, press the floor, left toe, right toe, left toe. One more time. Sit your knees down and sit back into child's pose. It's so good, right? If you want to hold things like handstands or just as an old person stand upside down and not, or stand and not fall over, we need to have the core strength. Was that encouraging enough? You're going to look great in your bathing suit if you do this. Is that encouraging enough? Good. We're doing a second set. Come on up into it. So you can put your knees down. If it's too much, put your knees down. But let's just check this out, just really quick. We have this saggy cow pose, right? Do that one. This is not what it is. Now press down, your upper back flares open in your pit of the belly. It doesn't have to be the whole Halloween cat, but it's a more hollow body. So it's no bum up, belly down, it's belly in. Now turn your toes under, take the plank. Hold it right here and breathe. Or if you want more adventure, tap your left foot out beside your right hand, your right foot out beside your left hand, and keep pressing. Try 3 of something. If your knees are on the ground and you're just lifting the pit of your belly, that is good work too. Everybody keep your work flowing for 5 more breaths, 4 more breaths, 3, work wherever you are. Aaron, pit of the belly up, take the sway out, sit down, sit back, stretch. How'd that go? Thank you, Teresa. Jim, you don't ever have to do any more sit-ups again. Out with the sit-ups, in with the planks. All right, let's take the forward on your belly, locust pose, all the way on your belly. Stretch your body out. We've already talked about to have a back bend, that we have to have strong legs and feet at 12 o'clock. When you get up into this locust pose, if your toes are turning out, that's different from 12 o'clock. So stretch your body long and lift. Let your thigh bones wrap in and under. So your kneecaps, all 10 of your toenails, if you've got 10, they're all still looking at the floor. And come on down. Somebody pointed that out to me recently, and I was like, that does make sense. Not everybody has 10 toenails, however many you have. Second set. You could vary it. If you've got a block in front of you, you could take that way out in the front and be hugging it with your wrists. So not fingers grabbing. You never get your center line that way, but hugging. Hugging with your wrists, palms facing in, hug and lift. Yep. So now Paul's having to rotate his arm bones like we have to rotate our thigh bones. They're rotating in. Good. And long. You got it. Try to straighten your elbows if it's available. Handstand hands. Come on down. Floor bow pose. Bend your knees, reach back, and hold your ankles. Do we all have to do a handstand to win at yoga? No. But the basic skills of a handstand, which you have practiced several times already, those basic skills are life skills. Okay, come on down. Maybe wave your feet from side to side. And then we'll take a second set. Second set, reach back and hold your ankles. Treat your practice as this amazing opportunity to be curious, kick back and up. This place that you were so smart to create for yourself, a place to take care of yourself for the 90 minutes we'll be together today. And know that you are actually making the world a better place by coming, breathing, creating balance in your system so you can be the best version of yourself for the rest of the day. Come on down. Wave your feet from side to side. Now, upward facing dog. So hands beside your bottom ribs, move your arm bones back, and then lift your chest up. Downward facing dog. Stretch back. Come down onto your knees. We'll take a camel pose. So knees on the ground, hip width distance. They could be hugging a block. You could have your toes turned under. We still want the handstand body here. So we don't want the belly forward, bum back body. We want the front of the body lifting. So stretch up. See if you can maybe hug your block. If you have a second one, hug it at your arms and lift up. You could turn your handstand hands to the ceiling and press. That's it, Susan. Press even your elbows. Jenna, press straighten your elbows like you're pushing. Yes, Teresa, Jim, like you're pushing the ceiling off the walls. Keep lifting and breathing. Good. Christy's popping the ceiling off of the room at home. Nice. Before we leave the pose, the lowest pit of your belly, draw it in. So these bony points, the ASIS, the front of your pelvis, they lift a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Keep on breathing. 2 more breaths. This way. Now lift. Lift. There. Lift. You got it. Lift. Don't drop. There. Come on up. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Stretch out. We'll do a second set. Kneel down, hug your block. Second set, start with the lifting up and getting tall. You know that last little bit where you lift the front of your pelvis makes all the difference, and lift your ribs. So no part of you gets to sink. A big back bend comes from the most lift you can create. So reach up and stay reaching, or if you're ready, reach hands back to your heels. You pick your pose. Good. That's it, Megan. Keep lifting, body long. As you get more tired, notice if you start to do this tiny little cheat of sinking into your bottom ribs. More pit of the belly, more lift up at the ribs, and come on up out of the pose, downward facing dog. Check out your lower back. If your lower back right now feels like crowded, that was not enough lift. Okay, move through your hands by jumping or crawling and then sit down. Once you're seated, you can hug your block between your knees and reach your arms forward. So shrug your shoulders to your ears, move them back, and just let them drift down. From your sitting bones on the floor up to your shoulders and the crown of your head, be tall. Then active legs. Breathe in, and as you exhale, start to curl now. Roll off your sitting bones and pull your belly back. And then start to roll through the flesh, the muscles of your backside. Keep pulling the pit of your belly in. Right about here is going to be the spot. More belly. Take the hinge out of your body. More belly so you roll down smoothly. Keep reaching. Keep squeezing. Pit of the belly. Right there. Pit of the belly. Scoop your tail. Scoop your tail. Put your lower back down and relax. Oh, such a tricky one. Bridge pose. Put your feet on the floor under your knees. Press down into your feet and lift your hips up. Feet hip width distance. You can still hug your block between your knees if you want to. Press the knuckle of each big toe down into the ground, and then press the center of each heel down. Breathe here. You notice how your arms are doing that same kind of feel that they did in our wide leg forward fold where our hands were bound. You're in the position now with your hands bound. Come on down out of the pose. Knees side to side. We'll take our second bridge pose. Press down and rise up. Press down, rise up. Now get situated with your feet and your knees and your shoulders and how long the two sides of your body are and how even they are. Keep your left foot where it is. Notice the two sides of your body. Bring your right knee into your chest. Are you still able to keep this box from hip to hip, through the ribs and to the shoulders, even on both sides? You just imagine that you're hugging in now to the center line with your standing knee, and with your lifting knee, hug in. More hug until it kicks in. Foot on the floor, switch sides. Left knee into your chest. So if you feel now the weight all the way out in your baby toes, roll it into your big toe, hug in your inner thigh, keep on hugging. There's your center line hug. The box, check it out, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip. And foot down, come on out of it. Knees side to side. We are ready for 4 more back bends. They could be bridge like we've just done, or we'll progress into wheel pose. So let's all start in the bridge. And then after the bridge, it's hands on the floor set wide. Wide. If your shoulders are really strong or tight, your hands are going to come narrow. Insist that they stay wide. Then press down and rise up into the straight arms into the wheel pose. Stronger the shoulders, wider the hands. Good. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees go side to side. Okay, so we've got 3 more of these. Let's get set up now for the second one. Set it up, press down, rise up. Once you're up, press into your big toes. That's it, into your big toes, Jenna. Hug into your center line. Press into your thumbs as well and come on down. Knees side to side. Maybe take a sigh. Set up the next one, the third of 4. Press down, rise up. Once you get up there, soften a little bit. Maybe take a sigh, let your lips flutter. Just soften. That's it, Helena. Knees in, hug in. Yep. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. How many do we have left? 1. Suzanne's keeping count. Last one. I bet she's not the only one. Press down, rise up. Get up into something that feels like easy for you, that's timeless, that you could be in if you didn't know how long it was going to be. Something where you could relax a little bit. And you start to breathe. Getting some cramps there. Press into your big toes. So hug right here. Hug more there. And come on down. Supta Baddha Konasana. So the soles of your feet together, knees open. You're welcome to close your eyes. That helps you to just have the opportunity to look inward, to feel, sense, appreciate how it feels in your body right now. It's a lot of times helpful to just tap into, check into, what's your mood right now? We don't give enough attention to how powerful our mood is. And that's something we can change. Hug your knees into your chest. Then dead bug pose. So you'll hold the outer edges of your feet and pull your knees back to your shoulders and rock from side to side. We pay a lot of attention to the spine in a yoga class because it aligns to the main channels of energy in the body. There are other energy points in the hands and feet and other spaces, but the primary and energetic anatomy goes up through the area of the spine. Okay, legs straight up in the air. We're just going to scissor the legs. You'll want to ensure that your feet are parallel when you look at them, not turning toes outward. You can lift your head, you can reach, you can leave your head lying down or rested on a block, your choice. Take a breath in, and when you exhale, lower your right leg as far as it'll go, and then just check in. When your leg is lowered, do you feel a little bit like your bottom rib is straining off the mat? If you are, soften your knee, that lowered knee, or lift it a little higher. And switch and test the other side. We want to keep hollow like we learned in that plank, and you keep switching. Your goal is to keep the hollow body, to feel both bottom ribs stay evenly weighted on the ground, all of the bones of the spine down through all of the back of the pelvis. Keep on switching 5 more times. Watching for that steadiness, checking out. If your lower back is arcing, then you're using a lot of extra strength in your low back, and it will be sore later. We don't want that. We want the core, pit of the belly in. Finish your last cycle and hug your knees into your chest. We'll do the 30, 60, 90 leg lowering. So put your hands on your hips and curl up. If you feel like this one's like a little, okay, that's old for me, you could also curl up and do this just reaching. Active legs, maybe hug a block. Then breathe in and exhale, lower a little bit. Can you still keep your toes pointing forward? You haven't put your heels together and toes wide. Breath in, lower a little further. Hug your inseam. Breath in, lower a little bit more. That's as far as I can go today and keep my bottom ribs on the ground. Breathe in, exhale, come up. We're doing it 2 more times. Inhale and lower. Check out your bottom ribs. Lower. You can soften your knees. Lower. Wherever you go, just as long as your back is not arching, legs back up. We have 1 more round. Breathe in, exhale, lower. Really wrap your thighs inward and lower. Anchor your rib cage down. 1 more breath. Lower. Hold it there. Breathe 5 times, 4 times. Get the pit of your belly in. You can lift your legs if they're too low. and hug your knees in. Hold on to your knees, and then we'll take bicycles. So now shins parallel to the floor, fingertips behind your ears. Curl up. When you curl, feel from your bottom rib all the way down through your spine, everything touching the floor. This box, hip to hip, rib to rib, it needs to stay placed on the ground. And above that, you'll be twisting side to side. Right elbow to your left knee, maybe straighten the opposite leg, and you twist back and forth. How many times? Doesn't really matter. We want all of this anchored to the ground. Bottom ribs on the ground as you curl up, and just keep on going 10 times, 9 times, 8 times, 7 times, 6. How is it in your abdominals? Sending your leg away and drawing it back, sending it away, drawing it back. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock head to toe several times. Don't touch your feet to the floor. Several times, like balance on your sitting bones, go back. Balance on your sitting bones. Can you not touch your feet? Try. Little tricky. All the way up. Maybe you never touched your feet. Maybe you did. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Hug your block right here between your inner knee shin area. Hug your block there. Yep. Hug your block. You can make it a little wider. Sometimes those blocks are a little too narrow. Try that medium width, and then lift like your palms are lifting the ceiling. Lift your chest. Breathe right here. Breathe 5 breaths. You could look up if that's better for you. 4 breaths. Keep lifting. 3. Keep lifting tall. 2. If you're wilting, lift. Hug your knees. Rock again. Rock again. Through to downward facing dog. Right side pigeon pose. Not going to stay in this one too long because I want to do something we don't always spend enough time on. So your right thigh parallel to the side of your mat. When your right front thigh is out at an angle, inevitably your back leg is going to be at an angle, and you will not have tapped into your center line. So look at the side of your mat and ensure from knee to hip on the right side, it's lined up parallel to that. And then from the bird's eye view, we want to see the 2 sides of your pelvis level. So you might tuck a block under your right hip. Yeah, Teresa, pop that block under your hip. Got it there, Jim? Good. Now, some of you are pretty comfortable in this pose. You need to hold your back foot. Jim, not that comfortable yet? Try it holding your foot anyway. The block would make a difference, a bigger one too. And get you a sturdy block. There you go. Okay, switch sides. Good. So the intensity pedal on this pose, Paige, organize your thigh a little bit. It's getting angled, yeah. Is how square your shin is to the front of your mat. So you don't have to have it square. You could bring your heel into your center line. So bring this heel right here. Come up in the center of this. And now fold if you can. How's that? Love it, right? Good. That's what I was looking for. Nice. So we want to feel the hip openers in this area of like SI joint, around to the hip rotators, sometimes inner thigh, never knee. Assess your own body. Is that how it is occurring in your body right now? Then we'll sit on the left hip and swing the right leg around for double pigeon. It may be a seated up double pigeon where you're tall and your ankle is on your knee. We'd rather not be curled back. We'd prefer it tall. It could be that they're stacked and you're folding forward. You pick your variation. If this feels like still not good, just sit like your legs are a number 4 and sit tall. You use blocks however needed. If there's a knee hanging in the air, a block is good. Instead of hanging up, and sit your hips on a block maybe. So go up on that block, Alex. Both cheeks on the block. Yep. Flex your feet. So keep your feet active. For everybody, active feet. And then you sit just as tall as you can. One more breath. Good. Double pigeon. Yeah, it's just crisscross applesauce with a little bit more intensity. So if that's what you have access to, like just that, like you're sitting around the circle in kindergarten and you sit around the carpet circle, that works too. And in time, it closes up a little bit more. And fold if the folding is available. What we just don't want is the rounding. We want to be sitting bones on the ground, tall to the crown of the head. Good. Active feet. So flex your ankle. These poses we're doing right now, the double pigeon, the pigeon, if you ever find that you have trouble with your knees, start by working with the pigeon poses and see if that alleviates the tension in your knees. Okay, come on up. We're taking frog pose, but before you jump into what you always do, especially if you take the wall, let's do half frogs. So frog pose is the 90 degrees at the knees, hips, and ankles. The half frog is one of those happening. And your back toes just turned under or pointed, and the pit of your belly lifting. You might find that it's okay to lay down too, that's fine. But what we want to have happen is the inner thigh line gets long and the SI joint has a chance to open. So half frog. Give it a try. You're lying on the ground. The leg is out to the side. You have 90 degrees in the ankle, the knee, and the hip. That's like a box, right? Knee straight out to the side from your hip. Shin straight back to the ankle from the knee. Breathe. Now just see how that feels in your body. I'm going to move this a little bit, Charlie. There. If your right knee or the knee that's on the bent leg feels like it's kind of grinding into the ground, then just put a folded up towel under it. If your lower back feels like a lot of tension because you're on your shoulders and in a bit of a back bend, you can rest your chest down right there. Is that okay? Okay, good. Looked like it was in your lower back a little bit. Yeah, breathe and just see what that experience turns out to be in your right back hip. I'm going to adjust your alignment a little, okay, Suzanne? Okay, I figure. Take this and here, there. Okay. Here. Oh, your sock and put it under your knee. Here. There. How's this feeling back here? Can I move your foot a little bit, Teresa? Okay. I'll take this, there, and there. And if your knees start to feel like they're really grinding into the floor, just put something under it. Just move this just a tiny bit, and then I'll place your towel for you, Jenna. Keep on breathing. Oh, I see there's something in there. Good. The nice thing about frog pose is it's a pose you can hold for a really long time. You're only in half frog. The longest anybody ever asked me to hold this pose, we held it for 45 minutes. That was a very hot room, and it was very hot. So hips are best when you have no resistance left. You want to try the other side. Come sliding forward. Maybe take a little upward facing dog and feel the difference between your two sides. And then we'll take the left side. So some of you, I came around and helped you adjust just to create the angles more clearly. Especially if you're pretty flexible in your lower back. You bring your chests to the ground as far as you can, so there's a little bit less back bend happening in your low backs. Yeah, flat out on the ground seems good for a lot of you. There you go, Paul. Let's bring this a tiny bit more. Breathe and see how it feels in your body, not really feeling it. You just adjust you here. Gonna go right there. This one right. I'll take that behind you. There. And that's just all it is. Just like that. How does that feel in your body? Okay, come sliding forward. Give yourself some upward facing dog, and then organize your body into a sitting position with an extended right leg and a bent left leg for a seated single leg forward fold. When you get there, go into the fold. It can be helpful if you find when you're in forward folds, that means you're not bowing or folding. It can be helpful to sit on a block. Soften your knee. Get to the point where you feel your sitting bones on the ground and sit up tall and then hinge. Hinging always refers to forward fold body, hips going with the spine, different from the bow, staying with your legs. Good. I think that this is the best moment in class when you get to this pose and you get to just sit and breathe, feel the last little bit stretching. You did all the sweating. You know Shavasana is coming, switch sides. I don't know, that must be part of why I like this pose so much. It's simple, but it's just at the right spot and the right thing. It's a total ability to just release. I feel like it's the spot that if I came into the mat that day with a bit of tension or energy from the day, maybe I've been working with it the whole practice, but I always feel like this is the spot where I cross over to the other side, where like I can breathe more easy. I know it's going to be okay, whatever it is. You just change your chemistry, breath by breath, shape by shape. Come on up, 2 legs in front of you, seated, forward fold. So instead of your bum being tucked under you, you want it moved behind you, straight body. So rock your hips from side to side, soften your knees, elevate your hips on a small block, hinge forward. Otherwise, if we're always just kind of the bum tucked under and trying to take the forward folds, just tugging on these tight muscles that we use all the time in our low back. We want to lengthen and soften them, convince them to stay that way because we've built support, and then start to learn to use the joints of our hips. In doing that, in time, your lower back becomes stronger, more supported, more at ease. Hug your block between your ankles or your knees. Reverse tabletop. So if it's the tabletop, you bend your knees and put your feet flat on the floor. Fingers, so hands flat on the floor, fingers point toward your feet. Press your hands into the mat and lift your hips up. Bent knees or straight, block hugged between the ankles or knees. Then once you get here, let it be easy. Let your hands sink into the mat while your chest floats up to the ceiling. Concentrate as you breathe on just expanding your chest and upper back. One more. And then sit down, take a fish pose. I'm loving Debbie's fish pose lately. She begins in a bridge. So she starts, you could try it that way in bridge pose. When she gets to the bridge pose, with the hands bound under the body, arms tucked way under the body, and then lower the body onto the arms. So you're pressing the forearms, the elbow joints, the wrists. Then you can put your palms on the ground and straighten your leg. Whatever variation you take, breathe. Breathe and have the feeling of expanding your chest and upper back. Tuck your chin, roll onto your flat back, and we'll take an inversion. You can roll your feet overhead for plow pose. Or lie on your flat back, perhaps hips on a block, legs straight up in the air for waterfall pose. Active feet, Nima. Yes, stay right with that then. Active feet, Paul. Charlie, Sue, everybody, and easy breathing. Five more breaths. 5 easy, calm breaths. When you finish your 5th breath, take the next pose, the finishing pose. If you're in a shoulder stand, it'll be plow to deaf man's pose. If it's waterfall, it would be knees into your chest. If it's a headstand or a handstand or a forearm balance, it would be like a child's or a newborn pose. Newborn being child's pose with the arms back. What it can be is whatever feels good. And then make your way onto your flat back. Once you're on your flat back, hug your knees into your chest. In the studio, there's a cold eye towel you're welcome to use. At home, maybe you need to get a blanket to be warm. And then a simple twist. Drop your knees to the left and look to the right. Just put your body in an easy position. No extra work, no more forcing, asking, doing, adding. Take a breath with a sigh and let your body soften. Then switch sides. Take a breath with a sigh. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees open wide. Then deep rest. Stretch your legs out long and wide. Your arms wide and your palms facing up. Organize your body so it's comfortable, that there's no hanging in your lower back. It just all feels pretty good. Once you get there, take a deep breath in and exhale. Do that as many times as you need to let your body go. Let the floor support you. I'll read to you from our book, Journey to the Heart, a reading called Become Willing to Heal Your Heart. We don't open our hearts by being a tower of strength. We don't open our hearts by glossing over the things in our head. We open our hearts by feeling what we feel. We open our hearts by being vulnerable, honest, and gentle. We've become so strong, so self-sufficient. I can deal with that, we say. No big deal, I'll keep moving on. Yet, many of the circumstances we've been through, and some that we're going through now, cause break lines in our heart. Some of the fractures are small. Some are big. They really hurt. Maybe certain people in our lives weren't there for us or aren't there for us now in a way we would like them to be. Maybe some deceived us unconsciously or betrayed us deliberately. I can deal with that, we say. I understand. They have their own issues. Or I forgive. Yes, people do have their own issues. And we do forgive. But now may be the time to learn gentleness, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness for ourselves as well. We don't open our hearts by ignoring the break lines. We take our hand and gently run our fingers across each crack. Yes, it's there. Yes, I feel it. Yes, I'm ready to heal my heart. Begin to deepen your breathing and to move your toes and your fingers. Then hug your knees to your chest. Roll to your side, either one, and bring yourself up into a sitting position. Organize it that it's comfortable and you can sit tall. Then inhale and reach your arms high up overhead, stretch up. Exhale, gather your hands together in prayer position at the center of your chest. With your eyes closed, take your attention inward and just scan your physical experience, how things seem to you right now, and see if there's an intention present for you to set now for the rest of your day. Much like you could use your attention throughout the practice as a mantra and guide the way you shape poses, you can use an intention through the day to guide the way you shape the way you relate to yourself and to others. And then one more time, we're going to chant Om together. Let it just be loud, feeling that you feel through your body, and just serve as a clearing. Take a deep breath in. Thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Namaste. Good work. Thank you. Reminder, you just have a couple more days if you would like to scan the QR code on our Access Love entry. it just enters you to win $1,000 off of our first level of training called Access. The next one begins in April. So just enter your name. There's no cost, no obligation. Just throw your name in the hat. See you next time. So Christy's gone.